everyone, and welcome back to King Bee's Daily RNS Podcast, where we go through some RNSs from the day, what happened in the market, and a bit of summary on each one. So first up, PPP. They've talked about an average of 161 barrels of oil per day, and they're doing some well testing to improve and optimise production. And they've got a workover rig for the second well in December, 2% up on the day. And obviously we want to see long-term production here, not just in a few months. So see if it declines, improves. It'd be interesting to see and track from here. Next up, WSBN. So they talk a very bullish statements in this RNS about world-class and different things and being shallow and things like that. So I've done a bit of digging into this RNS just to give a bit of a summary. And there are small 1 meters, up of intercepts here. And a lot of this has actually gone beyond the 300 meters. So 300 meters is good for open pit and shallower. There's some lower than 300 meters, so it might be quite hard to get out. Also, the gold and the copper seems relatively low. And if we think about 2 grams per ton or better being good for gold, for open pit mining, and then at shallow, and 10% copper and 5% copper, this sort of stuff we should be talking about. A lot of the copper is relatively low. So it'd be interesting to see how they now work from here to see if they can really prove up extensively and in a massive resource to try and compensate, which I think are some interesting findings, which might not suit the world-class status, just my opinion. Next up, AFC. Again, I've talked a lot about the green energy revolution here in our podcasts, and this is another one where they're looking at the ammonia modular cracking demonstration they're doing to look at ammonia to hydrogen, and they got a letter of interest discussing the market cracker adoption in elsewhere. So an interesting one to track again in this green energy revolution stuff. I think it's an interesting development there. ARB, 17% up on the day. Really good. It's had a really up and down, I suppose, with Bitcoin, I suppose. It's kind of followed the run of Bitcoin, hasn't it? But they've said they've got to 4.8 Bitcoins per day, and they've said they've improved production by 5%, and the revenue is about $5.3 million for November. So it seems like going well. We talked a lot again about linking a lot of sectors to what you invest in, and obviously Bitcoin's on a run, so linking what you invest into that might be a good idea. Next up, DEMG. Again, it's had a bit of a torrid time over a while now, but it's good to see their first sale come in November 23. They're going to sort of do optimizations and different things based on their feedback. The feedback's been positive. It's saying it's the same as or better than their previous system. And they want to fulfill new orders coming in this and next month. And there's been board changes and different things. So hopefully with some more sales on board and getting the revenue in and turn into profit, things might look brighter for DEMG, and 16% up on the day. So it seems like shareholders are thinking the same thing too. Next up, GMET. So flat on the day. Again, this is an interesting one. So it's just rock samples for now. So there's a lot of stuff to do. But they're saying everything's above 1% copper. So if you look at the difference between WSBN, I know it's just rock samples, but above 1% copper is good. We want to see probably 5% up really later on, but it'd be nice to get some proper analysis there. And a peak of 37.1 grams per ton of gold. So some interesting findings there. And it'd be really interesting to see when they get to drilling and proper exploration stuff that they can really deliver on those hopeful statements there. Next up, CSFS. Really great to see a company. We talk a lot about here profit. I know I say it a lot, profit. 37% up on the day. Why? Because it's materially ahead of the market expectations. I'm not going to go through this RNS in detail because that's all you need to know. When a company is materially ahead and working hard for its shareholders and for its company, fair play, brilliant stuff. That's all I got to say on that one. Next up, Fab. 22% down. The summary is revenue down, increasing in loss, 0.5 million in cash. They need revenues and quick, or they're going to run out of cash and then dilute. It's quite simple. The reading I can see. There's again a few orders, smash it, and they'll do really well. And I hope they do, because shareholders have been up and down like a yo-yo. So it would be nice to see some proper revenue come in and turn to profit, and they meet these bullish expectations of people wanting their work. Okay, it needs to meet that. Last up, BZT. So a placing, unfortunately, at 0.025, 32% down the day, 3 billion shares for £800,000. £12. How far is that going to go? Companies at the moment are really hemorrhaging cash. So I really hope it turns around, get some revenues in, and is able to plug the hole there for shareholders. So thanks, everyone. Obviously, we have honest debate in our group, and we're the largest Telegram group in the UK. So if you like what you hear, come and join us. The link is in our description at the bottom, and it'd be great to have you and really debate things out so we make less losses and more gains in the market. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.